Hello, friends and family. Emma Sadehi is back with another episode. Thank you for tuning in to WDIP, War Displacement and Immigration Podcast. My co host, Lucas Chamberlain, is joining us today.
Yo, 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 everybody. Thank you for joining us all today.
And honestly, guys, we're diving into something pretty heavy today. So remember to keep an open mind, an open heart, and understand we are neutral parties discussing political unrest. The Israeli Palestinian conflict is an unavoidable topic if we're talking about global issues currently, which we are. And today, our podcast is specifically about displacement from both sides of the war and the effects that immigration has caused due to this war.
And yeah, when we say displacement, we're not just talking about people crossing borders. We're talking about people being forced from their homes with nowhere safe to go and having to physically seek refuge to another country.
Mm.
According to authors at Researching Internal Displacement, it's defined as persons or groups of persons who have been forced or obliged to flee or to leave their homes or places of habitual residence, in particular
Mm.
as a result of armed conflict, situations of generalized violence, violations of human rights or natural disasters, and who have not crossed an internationally recognized state border. Mouthful, I know.
So sad. And thank you, Lucas. Immigration, on the other hand, is a direct result of this displacement more times often than not, specifically how we're going to be talking about it today. Now, let's move on to how the specific conflict between Israel and Palestine contributes to massive refugee movements in the Middle East. Though both sides are affected, the numbers coming out of Gaza are a surplus compared to Israel. According to the United Nations Relief and Work Agency, also known as UNRWA, at least 1.9 million people, about 90% of the population in the Gaza Strip, have been displaced during the war. It's crucial to note that many of these people have been displaced multiple times, and the loss of life is detrimental from this. According to Gaza's Ministry of Health, also featured in the UNRWA's article, between October 7th of 2023 and April 22nd of 2025, at least 52,400 Palestinians have been reportedly killed in Gaza, and another 118,014 people have been injured.
And regardless of your stance on the war itself, I think
Mm,
we can all sympathize with the displacement of an entire population left
yes.
destitute without a safe place to rest their head. Sometimes even refugee camps and safe zones aren't the havens they are promised.
Mm.
Sadly, innocent civilians and displaced people get caught in the crossfire. It's not just about bombs or man against man. It's about the internal collapse of an entire system with a weak foundational institution.
Exactly, Lucas. It's political instability from both sides. There is immigration happening in Israel too. According to Israel's Central Bureau of Statistics, the ICBS, which I'll be referring to as later, 45,000 new immigrants arrived in Israel in 2023. That's about two-thirds of the number in 2022, which was 73,000. From this article, the ICBS also goes on to state that from March 22nd to February 2023, an average of 6,900 immigrants arrived each month into Israel.
And then there's the issue of where displaced people go, right? Because the
Mhm.
global responsibility for refugees and internally displaced people is super uneven.
Okay, go on.
Well, get this. According to
Mm.
Anina Harder and Save Jirai Askoy's article, War, Conflict, and Forced Migration, they said that relative to their population size, the three countries hosting the most internationally displaced persons are Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey.
Hmm.
I think it's important to note that migration in a war plagued area is not affecting the US or Western countries as much because these people can only move so far with the little things that they have left.
Hmm.
And if you zoom out further, we can see this effect more. Harder and Ascoy say that low income countries host just 15% of displaced people, while middle
Wow.
income countries host 60%. And high income countries only host a quarter.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that tells you a lot about who's actually shouldering the burden of war outside of just the main countries. And when war breaks out, countries and communities with fragile political systems, they seem to be the most affected. Like, what do you think we could do?
Well, I don't have all the answers, but a few things that we could do, honestly. It's really about preventative measures instead of dealing
Mm,
with the aftermath of everything.
mm.
Addressing the root causes, I think, is how we could focus our attention.
You say root causes. Are you talking about things like occupation, inequality, power imbalances?
Exactly that. People's jobs, their incomes, their situation between themselves, and access to fundamental human rights and government protections.
Oh, I see.
What's happening between Israel and Palestine right now is a reminder that displacement isn't just a side effect of war, it's a weaponized means of eradication.
With all of that to say, I can't help but agree with you, Lucas. You put it perfectly. Whether it's through displacement that causes immigration, global aid, or correct me if I'm wrong, just our shared empathy for humanity. Displacement is a global issue that could potentially be managed if everybody tried. I think that being informed is the best way, and it's the only thing we can do right now. So, for all of you watching, I hope you leave your thoughts and your comments down below and let us know what you think.
All right, everybody. That's it for today's episode of WPID. Thanks for listening.
And you know how it always ends, but stay safe, stay woke, and we will catch you next time.